Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of coins and collectibles with a complete deep dive on the 1976 Lincoln penny, the history, its potential value, and why some people believe certain pennies could be worth huge sums of money, like over $1 million. We will start with the basics, what this coin is, where it came from, and why it exists. Then we will talk about normal values compared to rare exceptions and the truth behind million-dollar claims. So let's begin. With the history, the Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Before that, American pennies featured other designs. But in 1909, the United States Mint chose to place a real person on a coin for the first time. That person was President Lincoln, and the design quickly became iconic and enduring. The original reverse design used two wheat ears, and that's why collectors call those early pennies wheat pennies. The wheat penny era lasted from 1909 until 1958, and it remains one of the most beloved and collected coin types in United States history. Robinson Foundation.org. Now, the coin we are talking about today is the 1976 Lincoln penny, but unlike the wheat, since the 1976 penny does not have wheat on the back. In fact, by 1976, the Lincoln penny had a completely different reverse design called the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959 and continued until the redesign in 2009 for the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent. Cointrackers.com. The 1976 Lincoln penny was minted at three different places: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with billions of coins produced. That's right, billions of these pennies were made. So nearly every coin collector and almost anyone who saved pennies has one or more of these lying around. Cointrackers.com. Plus 1 inch normal circulated condition. A 1976 penny is worth just slightly more than its face value. The metal content is mostly copper, which today is worth a little more than 1 cent, but not by much. That means a penny might be worth a couple of cents just because of its copper content, but that's it for most coins. U.S. Coins Guide. If you have high-grade uncirculated coins or proof coins, these can be worth more to collectors. Pennies that have never been spent and still look sharp and shiny can fetch between a few dollars and perhaps a few $100s if certified and graded by a professional grading service. Some special error coins can fetch prices above typical values depending on condition and market demand. Oldcoinonline.com. Plus 1. Now, let's talk about the story. You may have heard that some 1976 pennies are worth up to $1 million or more. You might see videos and websites claiming that a normal 1976 penny could make someone rich overnight with incredible values like $1.3 million. There are viral videos on platforms like YouTube showing titles just like that about a 1976 penny being worth a fortune. YouTube, while that makes for exciting clicks and views, the truth is a bit different. Yes, rare coins with dramatic minting errors or extremely high grading results can be worth a lot of money, but it almost never applies to run-of-the-mill pennies and definitely not to common examples. Most of the super valuable U.S. pennies come from the wheat penny era, especially rare error coins with unusual characteristics or mistakes during the minting process. Some wheat pennies from the 1909 or 1943 era have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction because only a handful existed due to mistakes or unusual production. Runs Robinson Foundation.org. For example, actual rare Lincoln wheat pennies, such as the 1943 copper strike error or the 1909 SVDB variety, are known to bring truly impressive prices when authenticated and certified in top condition. Some auctions have seen these coins sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in the rarest cases, collectors and dealers have hammered final prices approaching or above $1 million, but these are extremely exceptional cases tied to very specific coin types, not the 1976 design. Robinson Foundation.org. So, if you find a 1976 penny in your pocket change, you should definitely take pride in owning a cool piece of U.S. history, but don't bank on it making you a millionaire. Most will be worth just a few cents to a few dollars unless it has a truly strange printing error certified by an expert. Now, what should you look for if you really want to find valuable pennies? You want to examine condition first. Coins that never circulated often are called uncirculated or mint state. These can show original red copper color and sharp details, which collectors pay more for. You also want to inspect for errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, or misplaced blanks. These kinds of minting mistakes can be rare and significantly increase a coin's value. However, they are still extremely uncommon compared to the billions of standard pennies out there. Coin knowing. Always remember, the coin market can fluctuate. Collectors' interests change, and pricing at auctions moves up and down based on demand. If you think you have something rare, the best step is to take it to a professional grader or coin dealer. They can give you a proper evaluation and help you understand exactly what you have instead of relying on internet guesses. So, to wrap it up, the 1976 Lincoln penny is an interesting collectible with a long history as part of America's longest-running coin series. Dating back to the Lincoln design, first released in 1909, it connects everyday change with deep historical roots. The chances that a 1976 penny is worth millions are exceedingly small, but with the right exceptional attributes and context, some pennies throughout history have indeed sold for extraordinary prices. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this detailed look at coins and coin values, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, keep hunting through your change. You never know what stories and treasures you might uncover. If you want this script adapted for voiceover timing or in a different style, like dramatic storytelling or educational narration, just let me know. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are going on a deep and fascinating journey through coin collecting with a complete exploration of the 1978 Lincoln penny. We will uncover its history, why it exists, what makes some coins valuable, and why you might have heard stories online about pennies being worth huge sums of money like $1.2 million. Let's start by talking about what the Lincoln penny is and where it came from. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 as a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. At that time, the United States Mint made history by putting the portrait of a real person on a regular circulating coin for the very first time. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in American numismatics. Early Lincoln pennies featured the wheat ears design on the back, and because of those wheat stalks, collectors refer to them as wheat pennies. These wheat pennies were struck from 1909 through 1958 and remain among the most collected coins in the world. The coin that we are talking about today, however, is very different. The 1978 Lincoln penny does not have wheat on the back at all. In 1959, the mint replaced the wheat design with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and that design remained in place for decades. The 1978 penny shows Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It is part of that long and ongoing series of pennies that was produced in very large numbers. In 1978, the United States Mint struck nearly 10 billion Lincoln pennies across 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The millions and billions of these coins ensure that the 1978 penny is one of the most common U.S. coins in existence. Because of that huge production, most 1978 pennies you find in circulation are worth only a tiny amount above face value. If anything at all, a typical circulated 1978 penny is worth about its face value or just a couple of cents in change. That's because the coin was made mostly of copper and the melt value alone is slightly more than 1 cent, but not dramatically more. The vast majority of these coins, even ones that look relatively nice, sell for just a few cents to a few dollars at most. Collectors who save 1978 pennies usually look for pieces in exceptionally high condition. Uncirculated examples that have never been used and still show their original red copper color can be worth more than circulated pieces. In good uncirculated condition, these coins might sell for between a few dollars and perhaps a few $100s depending on the grade and the market at the time. There are also proof coins made at the San Francisco Mint that were created for collectors rather than for circulation. These proof coins have a mirrored finish and special qualities that make them more desirable for collectors. In the absolute best condition, proofs and high-graded mint state coins can bring a premium, but most of them are still worth far less than dramatic amounts like $1 million. Now let's talk about the idea. You may have heard that a 1978 penny could be worth $1.2 million. You might have seen videos and headlines online claiming that normal pennies from 1978 could make someone incredibly rich. These kinds of titles are popular because they get clicks, but the reality, according to coin experts, is quite different. While rare coins from some years and types, especially early Lincoln wheat pennies from the first half of the 20th century, have sold in auctions for hundreds of thousands of dollars, the 1978 Lincoln penny is simply too common to be one of those million-dollar coins. Every year, there are viral claims about people finding everyday change that could supposedly make them rich. Experts in numismatics explain that the only pennies that have ever sold for sums approaching or exceeding $1 million are from much older and rarer series, mostly wheat pennies from the first decades of the series, with very specific rare errors or low mintages. The 1978 penny, with its overwhelming production numbers, simply does not fall into that category. That does not mean that no penny from 1978 could ever be valuable at all. There are error coins and unusual varieties that can be worth significantly more than face value. Some double die errors, off-center strikes, or other mistakes made during the minting process can attract collector interest and command higher prices. Those error coins are rare by comparison to normal pennies, and their value depends on how unusual and dramatic the error is. That if you think you have found a 1978 penny with something unusual about it, the best step is always to have it examined by a professional coin dealer or grading service. They can tell you whether the coin has any genuine error or rarity that could make it collectible. Without that expert evaluation, it's impossible to know whether something truly makes it valuable or if it is just a normal coin to sum everything up. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of a long and fascinating series of United States coins connecting everyday pocket change to the story of Abraham Lincoln and more than a century of American minting history. Most 1978 pennies are common and worth only a few cents or a few dollars in the best condition. The claim that a 1978 penny could be worth $1.2 million is not supported by actual coin market data or auction results. Million-dollar sales tend to come from rare and historically significant coins from much earlier years. Thank you for watching this detailed look at the 1978 Lincoln penny and its value. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember to check your change. You never know what stories and treasures might be hiding in your coin jar. If you want this adapted for timing or in a particular tone, like dramatic storytelling or educational narration, just tell me.